Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einem kleinen Interview hier bei Rocket Beans und Kino Plus. Wir reden anlässlich des Shivers Festival. Furchtbar.
It's live? Are we live on air?
No, it's not live. It's not live.
Okay, we'll do it again. We gotta do it again.
Okay. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einem kleinen Plausch hier im Rahmen des Shivers Film Festival bei Rocket Beans, zusammen mit Pantherflix und eben dem eigentlichen Shivers Film Festival. Und ich bin ganz erfreut, denn ich darf einen Regisseur jetzt hier begrüßen, der einen Film gemacht hat, der bei uns auf dem Festival läuft. Er heißt Spree und der Regisseur heißt Eugene, und jetzt wird's kompliziert, Kotlyarenko. Is this right, Eugene?
Absolutely correct.
Cool. Nice.
Perfect.
It was the last time I will say your name this way.
Okay, yeah, don't ever say it again.
Okay.
Unless you're giving me an award.
I stick with Eugene. So, Eugene.
Okay, cool.
We have a little tradition in our show. And to start our conversation, I would like to keep this tradition and ask you, what was the last movie that you saw?
Oh, I saw a Mohsen Makhmalbaf, Iranian filmmaker. He's made a movie called Salam Cinema. It's real good. It's really good. He wanted to, when he was 17 years old, he was an anti-Shah revolutionary and he stabbed a police officer, okay? So then 20 years later, he wanted to make a movie about when he stabbed the police officer. So he put out a casting call in the newspaper, said, who wants to play me and who wants to play this police officer? And then the next morning he woke up and instead of there being like 100 people outside his window, there was like 5,000 people outside his window who wanted to be in the movie. So then he made a movie about auditioning all these people and casting them for the roles. And it's a very good movie, Salam Cinema. That was maybe 2 days ago I saw that.
And it was made in Iran?
1995 in Iran, yeah, Makhmalbaf, yeah.
Okay.
Mohsen.
Never heard of it, but I will keep it in mind.
It's very good. It's very good. You know how the Iranians, they invented a style of cinema that is very conceptual and meta. You know, probably the most famous directors, Kiarostami, and then also Panahi, and then Makhmalbaf was like the cool guy. He was like the popular one in Iran, but he's less popular internationally. Yeah.
Okay. And then this brings me to my second question.
Okay, let's hear it.
What's your favorite movie that only takes place in a car?
Oh,
beside your own one.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't want to. One movie we watched a lot before. It's another Iranian movie, so it's going to make me seem like I'm some sort of Iranian movie freak. Which I like it. It's not. It's called Taxi Tehran.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Jafar Panahi movie, and it was very influential. But I also really like. I think Cosmopolis is pretty underrated. You know, the David Cronenberg movie. I think that's actually. I wanted to hate it, and then I watched it. Like, this is really good. I don't know what my problem is.
Yeah. I watched it too, and I thought it was a little bit boring, I have to say.
No, it's not. It's actually not boring. You know what? It's funny. It came out before the Occupy Wall Street and like the very class consciousness. The 21st century class consciousness sort of like became social media-ized. It came out before that, like a few years before, but it was very much about those percolating grievances and stuff. So I think it's a good movie. I think it should be like kind of re-celebrated.
I have to rewatch it, and I will give you some shout-outs.
Rewatch it.
I will rewatch it. But I hope you said something about, or something like Taxi Driver, for example, because...
that doesn't all take place in a car. You know, Taxi Tehran and Cosmopolis is all in a car.
Yeah, Taxi Tehran I also saw. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. It's
a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I was hoping for Taxi Driver because the Collider website or the Collider magazine called the movie Spree American Psycho for the Digital Age.
Okay.
And I thought after I watched it, no, it's Taxi Driver for the generation Twitch. Would you agree on that?
Okay. I don't know. Sure. Yeah, I like those movies. I like Taxi Driver. I like American Psycho. I mean, more than those movies, a movie we watched was King of Comedy, you know, the De Niro Scorsese movie from 8 years after Taxi Driver about someone who's just trying to be a famous celebrity comedian, and he's bad. He's a bad comedian. He's a psychotic person. And that's kind of the energy that Kurt has in Spree, right? He's like an Uber driver who is just trying to go viral. And so he's bad at social media. He doesn't know how to go viral. He doesn't have the skill set, not cool or talent. He's just desperate. And that's kind of what I was trying to explore, the sort of desperation that we all feel on social media, the insignificance that we feel, and, you know, how some people deal with that.
Is there a certain, I would say, online celebrity that inspired you to write to write a movie about someone like Kurt Kunkel, your main character, or was there something else that inspired you to co-write the script?
So when my co-writer Gene came to me, he said, you know, it would be really scary to make a movie about a Uber driver who goes around killing people, and we do it all in one dash cam, which we don't. Just for everybody watching, there's a lot of cameras, there's many different angles, there's phones, and there's actually some scenes where we used, actually, if you can believe it, 50 cameras for setup, which is nuts. A lot. There's crazy shit in there. But so that was his idea of a horror movie. We were more influenced when we started doing research by, you know, YouTubers who have like 5 views total and are giving people advice on how to be social media successful or how to go viral. Like, imagine a person giving advice on how to have millions of followers, and they have like 3 followers, you know? So that was kind of the main inspiration. And then, you know, the movie is also about this kind of psychotic trend we have in America of mass murder, of you know, spree killers, and there were a few of those that we looked at and that we watched their videos and read their manifesto. I mean, I had done all these things before, just naturally being fascinated with like this, you know, very specific sicknesses in my culture. And well, but I mean, we're all kind of part of the same culture, right? Because we're globalized, because of social media, because of the internet. We all are influenced in colonized way by the consciousness of the internet. So even though this is a very particular American thing, someone going on a mass murder rampage, it's very global too, because we all live in the same culture, the virtual culture. Yeah, it was more like just people who want to be influencers who aren't, and then a few very sick American killers.
And how was the co-writing? Is it always easy and unproblematic, or did you have to struggle to bring all the ideas into the script?
Well, writing any script is a struggle by yourself or with someone else, but I like having a co-writer because I like performing. Like in my previous movies, I like acted in many of my previous films, so I like being there, being all the characters, like going through the scene with my co-writers, and then we figure out what the scene is, and then we'll write it together. You know, sometimes I'm just almost like dictating. It's like coming out of me. Sometimes we're doing just sort of like revisions. There's an app we use called Writer Duet, and you can actually, multiple people can be in the draft at the same time, changing it and not affecting each other. It's fun. It's good. Film is collaborative. You know, the most fun thing about film is that you're working with people to kind of make art, and it's a very important part of the medium. So I like editing with people. I like obviously shooting with people, and I like writing with people. But it's always complicated. You know, people have different ideas. You have to convince the other person your idea is better, and that also makes the film better, I think.
And at what point came Joe Keery into the process?
Yeah, so when we were casting, this is my first film with like this is my 6th movie, but my first movie with a casting director, you know, like, okay. So usually I just do it all myself. I'm very hands-on. So we sent him the script, and he liked it. And so then we had a meeting, and he was actually like the first person I met with. And I said to the casting director, I said, you know, he's really good. I think we should just go with him. And she's like, look, you've never done this before. This is we have like 6 days of interviews lined up. Like, can you just trust me? I said, okay. And actually, the second person I met was Sashir, who played Jesse. Yeah. I said, them two. At the end of the day, I was like, just let the first two were really good. And then we did 6 more days of casting. And I said, yeah, I think the first two, let's go with that. It was more or less like that. But Joe and Sashir and everyone, I mean, Joe is the heart of the movie, right? He's really good. I mean, he's a really good actor. Like, we did a lot of improvisation during the shoot. We did a lot of research, and, you know, we made a lot of videos in character to get in character. We then used to social media promotion of the film. So, like, if people out there want to go to on Instagram at KurtzWorld96, you can see a whole second movie that we like kind of made in character as his like bad social media.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So there's a real profile, KurtzWorld96, yeah?
KurtzWorld96 on Instagram.
Yeah. So this is part of the...
And also KurtzWorld on TikTok. But I mean, no, they became really popular because I used them to promote the film in America. And I was really interacting with fans, and a lot of people didn't know it was for a movie. I mean, we have like 80,000 followers on Instagram, which is like a lot for a movie, independent movie, you know? So, but it's good. It's funny. Like, people should look at it.
And this, and the content for all the, social media profiles, you shoot during the production?
Before, during, and then Joe and I met up about 3 times after to create the stuff. He's very committed to the role and the character, and we lived like maybe like 15 minutes away from each other. So it was just constantly, because it's a very sensitive subject, you know, like what we're trying to do is critique and satirize and make fun of mass murderers in America. And that is a very sensitive subject that if you do it wrong, or you do it stupidly, or you do it in a very mean or brutal way, it feels incorrect. So we just were very sensitive, and we were working a lot together so that we would get it right, you know, so that we didn't look like assholes doing it, you know. Yeah. Sorry.
No problem. Swear as you like. And how did it come to have... I was surprised. First, I was surprised that David Arquette shows up as his DJ father. How he came into...
You can imagine that character, the Chris Kunkel character, like, you know, maybe doing like a show in Berlin, like 2002, at like the tail end of his career, kind of just like, you know, like not getting into Berghain sort of energy.
And it's so funny because I already asked myself, what's about David Arquette? And then this documentary came out. You can't kill yourself. You can't kill David Arquette. And I was really surprised because I never heard of the whole wrestling agenda or legend of him. Never.
Yeah. He's a really fascinating guy, and he's a very open person. Those are sort of actors I like to work with, who are just very vulnerable and down for whatever and open. And I just said to him, like, David, like, you know, I said to him, look, I made a cringe compilation for Joe to look at like all of the pathetic people on the internet who don't know that they're being desperate. I'll send it to you as a point of reference. And then he's like, what's a cringe compilation? And I explained to him what that was. He's like, I think my life is a cringe compilation. And I was like, wow, okay, like go back 5 minutes ago when you didn't know what that was and just keep living. And that's what we're going to document. So, I mean, he was very aware of the sort of things that we were trying to like make fun of, and the sort of character who just keeps trying to be relevant and cool and young and on social media, and who is bad at it, just like his son, but is not psychotic, you know?
Yeah.
But David was cool. It was awesome. That's the only role we wrote for someone. Gene and I, we wrote that role for David, and he was flattered, and we had a nice meeting. He watched my movies, my other movies. He's like, you're like Woody Allen. I said, whatever you want, do this movie with me. whatever you think, I love you for that. Let's do the movie. But I love him. He's great.
And how did come to have Misha Barton suddenly sitting in the car? I was very surprised by her also.
Right. Right. Well, that's on purpose. Okay. So like the casting for the movie, the intentions were like the first act when he's taking people on the rides and you don't know what's going on. It's supposed to be people you've never heard of, never seen. Like it feels kind of real, scary, you know? And then in the second act, when Bobby character tells him he needs to up the what the fuck factor, right? I wanted to put in, I mean, originally we wrote the roles, you know, Kim and Paris, right? We want to get like Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, whatever, it didn't happen. But you want to make the biggest kind of like reality star type celebs, like Hollywood, like kind of celebs. We got Misha Barton and we got Lala Kent from Vanderpump Rules, who's super cool and super popular, you know, for reality TV people, and Frankie Grande, you know, who has his own reality TV history and is also Ariana Grande's brother. And their first line in the movie is like, what the fuck? And I wanted, you know, the people watching the movie to also be like, what the fuck are these people doing in this movie? And it was super fun working with Misha and Frankie and Lala. They're really good improvisers and just really funny people. And they also understood I was trying to make fun of these sort of Hollywood, you know, kind of reality celebrity personas. And we did make fun of that vibe, I think.
But it's not only fun, or it's also some critical aspect on the whole thing, on the whole stardom and the whole making people famous out of nearly nothing, you know.
I'm saying I had fun making fun of celebrity culture, social media, clout chasing, you know, like influencer culture. I think the movie is satire. You know, it's a critique of the thing, and hopefully you're able to laugh at this culture that we're all a part of, right? It's not even a culture. It's actually an economy. It's a attention economy that we all participate in. And some people become successful and many, many, many people fail. And it doesn't just affect our finances. It doesn't just affect our, you know, whatever aesthetics. It affects our identity, our sense of personal value, you know, self-worth. It's a very serious sort of game that we're all involved in. That's more than a game. It has become part of our, you know, psychology and our identity. And it's something to really consider and hopefully reflect on. Like, I mean, the movie's trying to point out things that we take for granted, you know? Yeah.
But coming back to shooting the movie, what was which scenes provided you the most challenging moments during direction or during filming?
Yeah. Well, you know, we had the chase on the freeway. That was very complicated. A lot of stuntmen. We had like 25 stunt people on that. We shut down, you know, it's very hard, Los Angeles, like to shut down the freeway, the highway. You know, like imagine shutting down like the Autobahn or something like that. It's like, it's hard, you know. So we had like 5 hours in the middle of the night. And we had to just do like, and we used, you know, we had like maybe like, I don't know, 300 meters or something like that. But it needed to feel like it was going on for like, you know, a kilometer. So we had to reuse the same parts, and that was complicated. And then the scene with Misha Barton and Frankie and Lala and the dogs, you know, the dogs. That was hard to train a dog to attack and run up a car. Blah, 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 blah. Is complicated, and the dogs were tired and annoyed because all the other shit we did in the junkyard took longer, you know, like when they're going under the pole and all that stuff. So, I mean, we did that all in one day, the junkyard and the dogs and the pole. We shot the movie in 20 days. So we did a lot of stuff. We had a lot of
and you did a lot of stuff. That's that's a good point. How many cameras have there been in the car?
Okay, in the car, there's 8 cameras, A through H. We label them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. You want me to tell you? Okay, there's the camera that's like looking at wide through the car. Then there's the driver's side cam, the passenger side cam, then back passenger cam, the front, the left, the back driver cam. And then there's a camera looking forward. Okay. And then in the back, there's a camera looking backward and a camera looking into the car. So there's 8 cameras. I could show you a drawing, but whatever.
And did they always run the same time?
Well, they would oftentimes crack out, you know, like black out, because they were getting hit by the sun a lot, and they're not meant to run for more than like 15 minutes. And they were getting hit by the sun. So sometimes they would crack out. And then our editor, Ben, and our assistant editor, they had to always match it up and resync it up. It wasn't like perfect, like, oh, everything's synced. It's like every single time you're matching the 8 cameras. It's a whole nightmare. And not nightmare, it's just a technical workflow that we had to invent, kind of. Because those cameras are not built to make a movie. Just like a phone is not built to make a movie, but we shot all the phone stuff on iPhones. Sorry, there's like a little bug. I'm trying to kill this little bug.
Kill the bug.
I didn't get it.
So, and at the end, how many minutes of material did you have?
Oh, I don't know. It was a lot.
This must be a pain in the ass in the editing, oh?
Yeah, well, also because we weren't using like a normal movie, you know, it has like a master shot, it has a close-up, it has a tracking shot, an insert. That's the grammar of cinema that 99% of movies use. We don't have any of that, right? We have almost like surveillance cameras the whole movie, right? So we had to invent a new rhythm. Like, how can we make this style still accessible to like a normal person who doesn't give a shit about aesthetics or like cinema, you know? So it was nice to have all of that footage, because it gave us a lot of different opportunities to figure out the best angle from take 6, and how do we match that with an angle from take 2. And, you know, because my editor, Ben, we had made basically 3 improvisatory movies before, we knew exactly how to make things that were totally from different like moments work together. And that was very helpful on this film. But yeah, it's, you know, it's a lot of footage.
And how long was the post-production then?
Like we had a good edit basically in 3 months. But then I had to write all the comments, you know, all the chat comments. So I wrote all of those. So there's
all of them.
I had a few people help me, but I probably wrote like 95%. Yeah. And so there's like over like 7,000 comments. And if you stop at any point in the movie, all those comments will be perfect. There will be different characters, different people with perfect names for their comment, for that moment, making fun of Kurt or supporting Kurt or making fun of the movie kind of, or it's me kind of telling you, the viewer, subconsciously how to think about this scene or this character. And then, you know, I knew some people like me would be able to watch that and watch the movie. But for like older people, boomers or whatever, I was just like, anything that's really important. I'm not saying you're a boomer. I'm saying for boomers. You're probably like,
I also had my problems realize everything, yeah?
Yeah, but I'm saying anything that was like important to the story, that's when we had those donation comments where the computer voice reads it out loud. So a guy like you can keep up, right?
Yeah, I watched a lot of minutes or a lot of time. I watched the comments, and I really want to try to get the comments and what they're saying, and especially when it's up to that the chat or the audience or the people, the viewers, that they are to decide if he should kill someone or not.
Right.
Yeah, and this was very funny to see and to read.
It's scary and it's funny. I mean, that's the energy of the movie. Like, it's funny, and then everything that's happening, if you think about it, is extremely scary.
Yeah, and I had to question myself because I saw the movie via a press stream. You know, I have a screen link.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had to ask myself several times: is this really pixelated, or is it is my stream so bad? Have you made? Have you made a virtue of necessity, or have you really then also alienated the picture?
I don't know. Probably your stream sucks. I don't know what scene you're talking about, but yeah, no, we messed around with the compression and with the like streaming speeds and stuff a little bit. I made a movie 10 years ago called Zeros and Ones. That I did that a lot. I was trying to really mess with people's perception of like, what is going on? Is the projector broken? Is broken? With this movie, not that much. So probably your street. You need to check your internet speed.
Okay. But sometimes it would be accurate because of the cell phones or the source he was using. Yeah.
There are certain techniques we did. Like we created, sort of fake cuts through sort of like holding a frame, like dropping frames, which sometimes happens when you're live streaming, right? You drop frames. So there is that. I don't want to make you feel weird.
No, otherwise I will check my internet connection.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. You're a great guy. You're getting exactly what you deserve for the prices you're paying.
Cool. But I'm also not so happy with my provider, so maybe it's just a reason.
Maybe on air. Maybe this is a good moment to call them out. Which provider do you have?
Vodafone. Get your shit done.
Vodafone. Hey, Vodafone. No, we need to fight against these mega technocracies, and these big tech corporations. Like they are benefiting from our psychosis, and they're benefiting from our complacency. And they're the ones who win when we all feel bad about ourselves, or when we're unable to do things freely on the internet. They win.
Or kill someone on the internet. They win.
They win. Even when shit gets removed, it lives on in this place. I will be using the internet to do whatever I'm going to do meaningfully with my life. That's how most people feel. And if the most meaningful thing someone can do is commit an atrocity, they'll be doing that on the internet, and that's views, that's advertisements.
So after creating the whole virtual reality around Kurt Kunkel, and after creating fake chat messages, what about the music? Was it also produced by you? Because
no. So the music is interesting. I worked with two different composers. I worked with. The challenge of the film, right, is that it's Kurt's music. For the majority of the film, you're hearing his music, and he's like a producer and DJ and stuff, and he's really bad at the music. So the challenge was how do we make music that is really bad technically and on many levels, but could still function as good score music that would keep the movie exciting and fun and cool. So I worked with this musician I named James Ferraro, who actually lives in Belgium now, but he's an American musician, and he's very deep in internet culture and in troll culture, and he's very prolific, and we had a lot of fun. And he made songs for me before the movie we even started shooting, and I sent them to Joe Keery so that Joe could get into character, feeling like he'd made these songs. And then when we got to the edit, some of those songs worked, some of them didn't. James was busy. So then we got another composer named Mason Ware, who's based in Australia. And I was working with him every night. When I was writing the comments, it was the middle of the night in America, but in Australia it was 1 p.m. So we would work together, and he did a lot of the more not Kurt songs, in the second half of the movie. That was more score, traditional score. So yeah, that was very challenging actually, because musicians, they want to make the best possible music, and they use a very sophisticated palette, to do that. And so they almost had to be actors, have what, bad palette, what sonic options could I have that are very crude and very rudimentary. So yeah, it was fun. It was interesting.
Tell someone to do shitty music. Yeah, so it's
hey, that's it. Hey, you know what? We need shitty music. I don't know why I fucking rambled for 5 minutes. We just needed shitty music.
Yeah. And you already said it, that King of Comedy was something like an influence.
A little bit, yeah.
And what is there, or are there another movies with that influenced Spree?
Yeah,
or directors?
There's a few other movies. So there's a genre of movie media satires. So Network is a pretty famous one. The Ilya Kazan movie, A Face in the Crowd. I don't know if you've seen that, where this country musician becomes basically the most popular person in America and runs for office.
Just heard of it.
is a really great movie, and I really like. There's a Billy Wilder movie called Ace in the Hole, where Kirk Douglas orchestrates this guy being stuck in a mine, and he turns it into a circuit, into like a kind of media circus. And there's a Gus Van Sant movie, To Die For, with Nicole Kidman. That we watched all these movies, and then there's a kind of more like serial killer type movie that's like scary and a little bit funny, like Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, is a movie that was influential to me and Gene, and a movie called Angst.
Angst.
Yeah. We watched that. I mean, I know all these movies before. It's just like I made a little list for the crew and the cast.
It's nice. It's nice to hear.
No, it's a very. I mean, that's a really powerful movie. I mean, that's a disturbing, powerful movie. It also is very contained. Like Spree is right contained in this one day or like 7-hour period, and Angst is similar, right? It's just he's out of prison, all this horrible shit happens, and then it ends.
Yeah,
and that has a really good score, right? Klaus Schultz. Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
So I guess we already used our time. And
okay.
I have just one final question for you.
Okay.
And
Make
this
it a
is
good one.
maybe something because your movie doesn't operate on the same level as so many other movies. And
higher level. It operates on a higher level.
Yeah, but from the direction and everything else, and the cameras are used and something and all of that. And it's I would say a movie for a new generation. So what is your advice for what advice would you give young filmmakers of this generation?
Well, we live in a moment right now where it's easier than ever to make movies. You have your phone, you have your webcam. So if you have something you really want to say, make a movie. If you're just trying to make like a movie that you think is like whatever, like your heroes or whatever, good, try it out and throw it away. But I think if you have something that feels really personal and original to say, there's nothing stopping you from making a movie. You just be aware of your resources, which could be no money and a phone and a computer, and go make the movie. Make it, because I mean, I know you guys have like, the whole government funding program, blah, 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 and it's very nice, but still you need to be hooked up with a producer there, right? You need someone to kind of walk you through it. You need them to approve your script or whatever, and just forget it. Just go make your movie. Like, like Canada had that same program as European countries for many, many years. And up until David Cronenberg, no one really made a fucking real independent films in Canada. And he had to do it because they wouldn't approve his script. So anyway, short answer, just go make the movie. That's my advice, because there's nothing stopping you. You don't have to pay a lot of money. We shot that whole fucking movie on iPhones and GoPros. You can make your movie. Yeah.
Eugene, thank you very much for your time. And I wish you all the best for Spree and further projects or future projects. And I hope to hear you from you soon. Yeah, maybe.
I hope.
Maybe you told me.
Say.
You told me that you're going to Europe sooner or later.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a chance that we meet again via stream or something like this. But if you're in Europe,
here's how we should meet. Okay, look. I hope people in Germany, people watching the film in the film festival enjoy the movie, and then they tell everyone about it, and then other people want to see it, and then it gets distribution in Germany, and then we can do another phone call, or we can do another video chat, and I'll fucking come to Germany and we'll premiere it, because we need the German distributor. That's it.
Okay. We will look forward.
Okay.
And maybe after the festival, we find someone. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, definitely. We have to. Okay.
Cool. Have a nice day.
Okay.
And enjoy your stay. Bye-bye.
For all of you out there who don't know me, get ready. Because you're about to know me. Hey, I don't see any cops around. Should I blow this next one? I'm Kurt. Hey guys. Hey guys. What's up, guys? We're gonna inject this right on the label.
Does this water have like a taste to it?
Airtight. Well, watertight. If you're not documenting yourself, you just don't exist. The mouthfeel on this? Otherworldly. What we're doing here is important. We're creating a brand. You're following me, you guys! Yeah!
Where are you going?
I'm taking you home.
This is not the way to my house, Kurt.
Oh, no, not your home. My home.